Coast Ridge line, and we use that on many fires. And the lines that we've done, Choose Ridge, all the way down to Rio Seco is almost identical. Then you go up much earlier to 2008 when you had the Basin Fire. The only exception with the Basin Fire, because it had crossed the Coast Ridge line, they were forced to use the coast. And I know that must have caused a lot of problems in the winter, which we didn't want to have, to lose your erosion control and have it black all the way down there. And then you had the Indians Fire, and again, had almost the same footprint where we caught these fires. And then you can throw in different fires and different portions that came into here, whether it's the Tassajara Fire, or the Seneca Fire, or the Sur Fire, or the Plaskett Fire, every one of those. You have history is going to prove to yourself that you're not going to stick men and women and think you're going to catch this. The other thing is that history will show that if you do not deal with this, that it will come out. It will come out on its own. And whether we like it or not, and it's really apparent unusual on this fire, most of the times your southerly slopes that get all the sun exposure are your lighter fuels, and they're usually more volatile. But you have such an incredible, because of the drought, and the incredible dead that you have on the northern slopes, which is also your heavier fuels, we're actually seeing more significant fire behavior and continuing by fire behavior on those north slopes. You see dry, very dry all the way through September, and no predictable rain right now through the entire month of October. And even past that, we don't see much. And if we do, it's typically not a whole lot with a wind event behind it. So the other day, prior to getting that little anomaly, and I guarantee you it was an anomaly, we got that cool weather for 2 days. It was actually a good thing, because this thing kept marching down. We had to stop this at some point from coming back around, which they were able to do, because this made a 2-mile run. And we looked at the fire behavior, we have video of it, where the folks trying to keep up with it couldn't even keep up with the firing. And then on the inside where nobody was, and it was time stamped at 11 o'clock, by 11:50 it made a 2-mile run already. And then we got the cool weather. So now we're in a warming trend. We're going to see temperatures, as you already feel, we're going to have temperatures well in 95. We actually, nighttime and some of the stuff is 75 degrees. Where we had almost 30 degrees in 100 Vegas the other day. And so what that means, our relative humidity, what we call point of extinction, where the fire really wants to get active, has been around 30 to 35%. It's going to be 15. If it hits 20 or 25, we're going to be lucky. What that's going to allow us to do is to continue the plan of firing. And so what we looked at is, and we've met with the communities, is that the original lines they put in, and you know, you've got these other lines which we're calling our contingency. And originally when the line going up, coming down the Coast Road, Indian Trails, Arroyo Seco, eventually out to Choose Ridge, and all the way to the dam, were considered secondaries, where they are now our primaries. And what I've explained to the folks, as we continue our firing operation, every time we get black line or burn the fuel to get a buffer on that, we get containment, because this is now going to be our containment line. So what we did is we started up by Choose Ridge. And we said, okay, we've got to get this piece back to get to where it's been cold for a while. And while some of this is cold, we're now starting to see heat sensors or heat signatures in there, which tells us it's going to start wanting to do something. And can we put a lower intensity fire, especially backing fires, and try to get this tied in, eventually working all the way down, holding off, and it gave us that little weather of this not spray anymore, because it wanted to get a point. You actually have to burn these together, and it's unfortunate. And a lot of things, I wasn't here with the other teams, is if they could have burned these two together, you would have had something that was much more manageable. And so now you're in a situation, there's no way that you're going to catch this direct. And then we got you guys in here. What do we do with that? First of all, Joe, you guys did a tremendous amount of work around it. So we feel good. And Kid and my ops people have been down here to confirm that. We are going to have to put fire around, and lower intensity fire that backs into certain ridges, and not put a bunch of hot fire towards you. But as we complete our lines, we still have this sitting out here. To prevent it from raining at you, we're going to actually go out to some of the ridges and start getting fire that will back down to prevent it coming to you high intensity. But what we've got to do, and we're only getting better windows. I think we were able to burn to 1 o'clock in the morning. We're actually going to get probably our best burning from 11 at night till 5 in the morning now, which will allow us to get a lower intensity Today they're coming across here, and my kid's all excited because he's on this one. He says, when do we get to burn right now? We're gonna carry this. They actually, it doesn't show it, but this is all burnt from yesterday. They had to take a little more time around the observatory. And then they had some structures around here, but they're actually all the way here, and it doesn't show this is much further depth. And we don't have the latest because we didn't get IR last night. And they're gonna tie this off today. And so we'll have containment line, and it won't show containment for a day or two as they mop it up and whatnot, and it backs further down because we wanted minimally 1,000 feet. And they're gonna get more than that. But this will eventually be our containment as we continue to burn. This will be our containment as we continue to come down. This will be our containment. And the one big advantage is that we, at Miller's, down below, we have all the aviation assets in the world because we're like the only fire in town. And ownership is 9/10 the law, so they're not going to be able to take them from us. So, as opposed to air tankers, they can take the air tankers when their structures are at. And so we've been active and engaged. They've actually pre-treated all this yesterday. They came, and you probably heard the air tankers. They had a heck of an air show yesterday where they continue to support. Whereas we get into more critical areas, they're to just do this. I mean, we've got the Portalia over 10,000 gallons already pre-made that they just dump. And so our plan is to continue this, and I gave it originally 10 to 14 days, and with the window we have, it might even be less, that we're going to continue firing this operation until this will be our fire's edge. And I think we actually are taking an area here that we're cutting off because this has always been a couple problems. If you look historically, when you fire in here, they get this weird anomaly, and even our weather guy showed it because of the drainage that they get slop overs that go down the Naciamento-Ferguson Road, and we don't want that. So we're actually taking this out of the element, and it's going to be easier for us to deal with instead of this tight turn when we fire, and that takes a couple thousand acres out of it. But that's going to be our eventual picture, that we're going to take the interior to minimize the exposure to you guys without putting direct fire. So that's my humble opinion. It is by far the best logical approach to this. Why not? By having a lower intensity fire versus one that's going to burn out. It's going to come out of here at some point. And well, history has shown that.
Yeah, whenever you get done firing, and if you wanted to come back and sit down, we can sit down and chat about what the big picture plan is and what we have here. 3 o'clock, this hill that we're on is called Zen Hill. The one at your 6, that's going to be referenced to as Flag Mountain. And then the one out to the northwest with the solar panels, that's going to be Hawk Hill.
Okay, Hawk at our 12, Flag Mountain at our 2, 3 o'clock, and then the ridge line you guys are on is Zen.
Yep, the one that you're flying over now is Zen.
Okay, what the Zen Hill spot is, right?
A primitive aerial ignition along parallel the road from north to south towards that dog leg where the road splits off, or towards Black Butte.
Okay, I understand. So no further than Black Butte, is that what you're saying?
Yep, A-firm. Just like to kind of take the punch out of that with the helitorch. Fire from the top down. Create a little buffer there. Maybe set some fire in the upper areas of the drainage that kind of run north and south into that calaboose from Black Butte. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. So yeah, we were just flying over that ridge right now, and I totally understand what you're saying. Okay, then we talk with Branch 3 and Structure Group and what that's going to affect. You know, that's